What's going on, guys, and welcome on in. So we're going to be going live here to finish out the day. Half hour roughly till the market closes. We're watching Bitcoin as it has hit all-time highs today. Let's pull it on up here on the screen so we can see that chart. We have the 5-minute pulled up here on me. We hit up to just over 67,000. Oh, sorry, my sound was on my phone. $67,000 was the high that we hit here this morning. So we're about to be diving into how things close up, and then we'll see once the market closes, what does Bitcoin do? I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out as well. So pretty big extension this morning, pretty much like right after the market opened, really, it seemed like this morning Bitcoin goes from like 64K and just blasts through all-time highs. So the question is going to be, in my eyes here, is going to be, do we get continuation here, or do we get a pullback, come down to the mid-60s, lower 60s again, pull back, hold that, and then go? Do we get kind of that false breakout type of feel or that vibe that we get going? And that could, be, potentially some downside for some of the miners, which could be some dip buys for some of the miners and some of the Bitcoin plays and whatnot. So there should be some good opportunities. For sure. Sorry about that. So we're going to dive into that here in one sec. We'll watch this. And then there's a bunch of stocks we'll talk about as well. We can see cross on the right-hand side. This is the list of the top gainers today. We're seeing some good action. You got SHIP, SHPW, HX, and then SDIG all up over 50%, which is good to see, for some top gainers, for some, nice movers today. So let me plug this guy in so we don't lose battery here. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. I am also going to be going over at least some of my current plays, my positions. I do want to pull up one interesting position that I have. I took a small short position on Mara, and I'll explain that here in just one sec as to why I did that. Personally, I detailed a couple of things on Twitter, at least my mini thesis. So if you want to follow me there, definitely go check it out. I think I have 2 accounts. One should be private, one should be public. Just go follow the public one, just my name on Twitter. And I just kind of comment on like some little things I see. I'm not calling, day trades. You guys know I don't do that. So that's not, my type of style as it is anyway. I was looking at Penn too. Penn, I want to pull this up really quick and see. It's pulling back today. Not save. Yeah, save. Save is doing me dirty this week. But hey, it is what it is. I don't really care. It's just going to do its thing. Penn's down 3%. It's been super volatile. Been up, it's been up and then down. It comes up and down, but it's been trending up really nice, actually. I got those calls out to next June, so I'm not really too concerned about that, letting it do its thing. We will see. I'm still thinking we can see 100 plus on Penn by the end of the year. But give it a couple months. Coming months is kind of the time frame I have on my Penn play, the idea behind that. But that said, I'm letting that work. So some of my larger positions, at least option-wise, I got the Penn play. If you guys saw yesterday's video, for those who are tuning in live or watching this after the fact, definitely go back and check it, especially if you're watching after the fact. Go check it out. But I bought some, I've been buying some Save, and I've been buying some JBLU into the fear, right? Into the fear of, the travel sector not being back to where it was. You're going to see more volatility on Save than JetBlue. So Save is kind of where I think that we can see some crazy gains if things go right, but it's also the higher risk play, which is why I wanted to play that as well as JetBlue, kind of more of a solid name in the space. And I think JetBlue will make a solid recovery. And that's just my opinion. That's my take. That's, everyone has their own thoughts and opinions on that. However, my intention behind that is pricing in. I think 2022, because these are calls that expire out into 2023. I think 2022 is a huge year. Second half, the back half could be, depending on how travel goes, and we'll see where we add, mandates and whatever, who knows. That's going to be a huge year, in my opinion. That's going to be pricing in the future of the travel sector and pricing in the future of airlines. I think that's going to be huge. And I think we're going to see a big boom the next, 5-10 years in the travel sector and airlines as a whole. So, with that said, I think on JetBlue, I think we can certainly see a type of move where this thing gets back up into that $18 to $20 range at some point in 2022, which isn't even all-time highs. I don't care. If we get up to 18 plus, I know my calls are going to be up over 50%. And so that's a beautiful trade as it is, right? if I can cash park, a percentage of my portfolio and pretty much know that nothing's guaranteed in the stock market, but have a good take or at least a good feel or at least a good confidence level behind solid 50% gains. And it could be more if things go, crazier, if it happens faster. That's how, I'm seeing things. But I did want to mention the Mara idea. Okay, well, Bitcoin's all-time highs. Everyone thinking, Mara, why would you go short? Here's the thesis, and it's not going to be it may not be a long-term idea. It could be a very short-term thing. I'm thinking tomorrow, end of this week, we could see some, pullback, and not a huge position by any means. Reason why is because Mara is not a super hard to borrow stock. You can get it cheap to short, so it's really not going to cost me anything to short it. It's very, very small, so I'm not worried about that. Whereas if you were to go short like penny stocks and you were to go short like SOS, for example, as SOS is pushing up today, first off, I would never want to short this chart because there's range. Sorry if you guys hear the sirens going on in the background. I wouldn't want to short this type of chart because there's plenty of range on it. But that said, the Mara chart, without having to pay, I can kind of be comfortable swinging it short if I wanted to. And it's going to be dependent upon Bitcoin. I think that Mara, I don't think there is a question upon is it fundamentally overvalued. But again, like I said on Twitter too, it's 2021. Who cares? Literally no one cares. It doesn't matter. These stocks can run for whatever reason. But the stock's already made a pretty big move. I wouldn't say it's all-time highs. I think if you can go back to 2017, technically the chart-wise it hit higher, but it's high this year. The 52-week high is 57.75. So when we approach that level today and we didn't break out over that level, with Bitcoin going to all-time highs and actually going to all-time highs by a couple $1,000, right? The intention, the idea is that Mara, people may be like, oh, wait, it didn't break out. It didn't go crazy. It didn't go to 75. It didn't go to 60 plus. I got to lock in my gains because it's been up quite a bit. It could come right back down. And so I'm kind of playing off people's idea of potentially locking in gains, not to mention it's going to be very sensitive now as it's made a big move. It's going to be very sensitive to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does what I think it may do and kind of fakes people out potentially in the coming days, where it broke out over all-time highs, but maybe it comes back down and it pulls back down a couple percent here and it comes back down to like that 64 and it comes back and, tests down here and it starts to build support there and then goes higher. Well, then what you have is a lot of potential panic selling across a lot of the miners, and especially it's going to be, seen in the ones, at least I believe, in the ones that have been, making the biggest moves. And so that's why I think Mara is a potential short idea in the short term play. I wouldn't want to, I'm not going to just short this thing and forget about it. No, obviously not. If it goes out and breaks all-time highs, that's my stop loss. So, I'm going to risk about $3 to the upside, and I'm looking for at least 4 to the downside. I think we can get much more than that. Potentially a sub $50 flush could happen the rest of this week. That's just the idea for the finish out the week. We'll see. And then it could be a good idea to go back long. I'd rather play the shares than options. I don't have to worry about timing and all that stuff. So that's at least my take on it. We'll see what happens. But that said, there's a bunch of other Bitcoin plays, like we were mentioning SOS before, that are really making some moves. SOS closing really strong, really nice volume day today. It's interesting because this is one that we talked about on live streams. We talked about before, and I've been thinking like, hey, what's up with SOS? And this one was a crazy runner back when Bitcoin was pushing all-time highs last time. What happened? What's going to happen now? And now it's pushing to, a move from the low twos, right? Pushing up. I think $3 is a reasonable target, which would be about a 30+% move from the bottom. And it could go for more. It's had that type of setup and that type of, shows that potential. So we'll see. I am interested to see if we hit maybe that 200 SMA up towards 385. Could be a spot that I'd be looking at on SOS, the target. Although, if it gets the Wall Street Bets crowd, it gets the attention and Bitcoin stays strong and crypto in general stays strong, then yeah, it could go for more. It could squeeze out again. So I wouldn't want to be shorting this type of stock, But you see why the idea behind the Mara play makes a little more sense to me. And SOS, by the way, is also a hard to borrow stock. It's going to cost you more money to short this thing. So it's potentially more substantial on that front. It is what it is. Also, once the market closes, I'll go over, we'll take a peek into some of the top gainers and see what they're doing. So HX, as we actually have been just live, it's up another 20%. So look at that extension. Looks like it halted up. HX is now halted to the upside. It's kind of a crazy move. Look at this stock over the past couple of days. If you go to the daily chart, this thing was holding up down here sub 2 and it slowly started to build. It hit up to over 2, pulled back a little bit here back at the beginning of October, and then never really died, and it held up over 2, pushed up again, made a push towards 3, held up in the upper 2s, pushed up again towards 4, 5, held 4, pushed up towards 6, and then it's been a play that, look at the volume. The volume has been, just substantially rising the past week. So this is up to now 45 million shares traded today, and it's getting up in price too. Look at that thing. It's nuts. It's telling us that we have a float here, sub 20 million free float, which is a pretty, low float stock, so it can move. And when you get that type of volume, yeah, for sure, you're seeing this action right now. Another one I've been playing too is DPW. I talked about it on some recent weekend videos, and that video, by the way, is coming tomorrow. I'm going to post the portfolio update tomorrow. Dives into all my positions, P&L so far of the week and all that stuff. I'll tell you the P&L this week is red for now. Maybe that changes by tomorrow. Who knows? But it's big of the airlines. I've been in the airlines. I've been averaging into those positions, which is going to do its thing. But the small caps have been keeping me, small caps have been nice and green at least. Nothing crazy, but they've been elevating. A lot of them have been elevating. I've been doing much better small cap wise in recent weeks than, at least the past couple of months have been. It seems like we're seeing a lot more, action there. So we'll see. CLSK made some good money. Well, DPW, I want to pull us out really quick. I think we can see a nice move up towards that $3 level, and then this could go for more, for sure. They know the game. The company behind the scenes here is, I think it's dog. You can, fill in the blank. But doesn't mean that they don't know how to play this game, and they know how to play the game. I think they're going to play the game in their favor here, and they're going to get themselves, especially the insider who, I believe the CEO or at least the president, whatever, is going to get himself a nice chunk of change at some point because he's been buying these dips past couple months. So he's going to make sure he gets out for some green. So I'm pretty sure he'll pump this thing up with some PRs in the coming weeks and months. And they also have a crypto aspect as well. So if Bitcoin keeps pushing on up, well, what is that going to mean for them? They mine the same amount of Bitcoin. They're going to make more money. Now it's not a crazy amount, but it's still going to make them more money. That's the game there. So CLSK. Pull it up, clean spark. Look at this. Very nice strides off the lows that we saw back at the end of September, hit down here towards $11. How it found support there, and then it started to make its move. And this has been a beautiful, beautiful play, up 5%, 6% today. It was up more, hit up towards that 1850 level, a little higher than that today, and then it's been pulling back, or at least it's pulling back a little bit. Off that initial, initial extension here so far, the first half of the day. So that's there's a lot. Let me see if I have anything else on my list that I have Bitcoin related. No, I don't currently have anything there. Let me pull up the other list. On this list, I have a couple other ideas. So we have SOS was on the list. I'm not going to obviously trade that anymore because it's already run. So I don't touch that type of stuff. If I don't get the bottom, I'm not really a fan. I have taken it and chased, as you call it, and it just hasn't turned out well. Now, obviously, the past couple of months, it hasn't turned out well because the market hasn't been super favorable for a lot of small caps, but going forward it may, so that may change, but you just have to kind of understand, and we'll talk more about that in future videos, right, as we start noticing stuff, for sure, but you have to just understand that the market conditions change, and so there will be times where the market rewards chasers in a sense, and you could be late to a play and still make a good chunk of change, but there'll also be times where if you're late to a play, you're going to get bagged and you're going to get, caught in an offering, you're going to get caught in a reverse stock split, you're going to get caught in a huge drop or, whatever, a short report, something like that will happen that will completely pull the stock down, which in a strong market, those things may not be strong enough to pull the stock down. It actually may just fuel the run even more because it could lure in more shorts and send the thing even higher. So you get kind of some of that action happening as well. So, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see Bitcoin. What do we got going on here? Bitcoin action. Holding up in the 66 range. You see how it's interesting how this had this crazy extension this morning, right? Pushed up about 4% to the highs, to all-time highs. And then from then on, if you notice, we're literally just in a 0.5% to 1% range the rest of the day so far. So I want to see us break out of this range. The bottom of the range looks like down here towards 66.2, top of the range up towards 67. Some resistance here at 66.75. So those are at least areas we're watching there. Tesla's one I also wanted to pull up while we're taking a peek at it. Tesla's getting rejected up into this area that we, kind of expected it because it was the prior all-time highs. We're up into that level. We have a band right here that was prior, consolidation of, resistance we couldn't get above. And now we're up in that level again. Now I think we're going to break through eventually. Maybe Tesla comes back down and kind of floats around in the mid 800 range for a couple days, couple weeks before it makes a bigger move. And it needs to break up over $900, I think, for a bigger move. And then I think we can see $1,000. I think we can certainly see $1,000 on Tesla by the end of the year. I don't think that's out of the question, but it needs to get up over 900 and make a nice stride to the upside from there. So we'll see, but let the charts play out. Because again, if you look back on Tesla, you look at what it's doing right now. If you look back to the left on some of these extensions, there are pullbacks in these extensions up, for sure, but they're also on a broader scale. They're longer time frames. And we only had a couple of days, realistically, since we broke over 800 that Tesla's had, given us to show, or at least what it's been able to do strength-wise. So we'll see. CAN is one that's been holding up really well. I think they're a minor as well, right? This is interesting. Like, what amazes me is it just shows you the market conditions, right? So you're looking at CAN at where it's at right here, and then if you look at like Amara, now they're all different companies, I guess, right? But look at Amara, where it's at pretty much at its all-time highs, or it's at its 52-week highs, and then you go to like CAN, right, which is another one of those that were crazy during the last crypto run. Okay, it's nowhere near where it was trading. You go to BT. This one's a little bit higher, but it's still nowhere near really where it was trading at one point. Even if where it was a few weeks ago, it's still about half off those highs. And then you go to like Riot blockchain. Now it's up today. Mara's actually red. The volume's been there, but it's also, look at where this is at compared to its highs that we saw. And Riot was the leader back here. You go back to, early this year, Riot was the leader compared to Mara. And then now they've both, now Riot's lagging big time, at least price-wise. And Mara's, the one that's looking completely different chart-wise. Also kind of gives me a little bit of kind of that urge to take the short side of the Mara trade. So we'll see how it plays out, I also have another strategy going forward, at least that I'm looking to build out on some of these swings going forward, will be looking for bigger moves in the swings. Mara's kind of not really, Mara's more of a shorter term kind of idea for a swing to the short side, but looking for bigger moves on some of these short swing ideas. But looking to play, so for example, if I'll play like 10% of my portfolio as a max position on, let's say, a normal swing trade that I'll take, I might go for maybe like 5% or, of my portfolio as a max position on a swing short. But I'm not going to swing short penny stocks. I'm not going to swing short low float stocks. It's something like Amara could be an idea, let's say post, 2022 on the backside if Bitcoin starts cooling off. Maybe it goes 100K plus and it pulls back off. That could be an idea. And look to take advantage of kind of the bear market, the crypto bear market. And what's going to happen? Well, you're going to probably see Mara go from where it was, its all-time highs or its highs. You're going to probably see, it get cut in half over the next couple of months. It's probably what's going to happen. It's like plays like that are kind of ideas that I'm looking for, at least on the short side. We'll see. That's just kind of an idea, a strategy that I'm looking to build out going forward. But I'm not, straying away from the core of playing a lot of the small caps and looking for the bigger moves and stuff like that. So we'll see how this plays out. But one of the ones that I also added too, we can talk about this one in tomorrow's video, is going to be OPTT. I've been waiting for this one. It's actually funny. The guy on Fox, Charles Payne, I believe his name is, or something like that. I don't want to say pump, but I guess he pumped it, right? He said that it could go to it's a $2 stock. That's like a possible $1,000 stock that's trading at $2. And he said that, I believe, back in September, and it went from like it actually went sub 2, and it went to, up over 50% in a couple of days. And it hit up to that 50 or that 200 SMA up here towards that 280 level. I'm looking for that level on this. So I'm looking for 250 to 280, maybe even $3 possibly on OPTT. I think we can see more than that if it heats up. If pennies heat up a little bit more, small caps get some more juice, which I think we're getting closer to that. So that's another idea. IWM, let's take a look at that. IWM is looking better and better. This is getting very, very, very close to that breakout. So we'll see how this plays out. But it's up 0.5% today, leading the S&P, leading the Dow. And of course, the NASDAQ is leading that because the NASDAQ's red. So it's leading those indices really nicely. I'm looking for this thing to get up into that 230 range, and then we'll see if we get up into that range. If we want to break out and go 235 plus, that would be really nice on IWM. So that's something we're going to have to watch going forward. And I think we're going to get that breakout in November. November is historically a very strong month for small caps, so I think we're going to get that breakout in November. Again, look at this, guys. Back to Mara, we'll check on Bitcoin, but Mara looks like it wants to go to the lows of the day. This is not a good sign if you're long. I mean, let's just understand this, right? Now, this could be a great trade longer term if Bitcoin stays strong. I'm not doubting that, right? And I would love to go long on it, but the idea behind it was that we didn't hit those all-time highs. Bitcoin pushes all-time highs, and what does Mara do? It gets close, but it doesn't hit that level, and it doesn't break out. It's already had a really good run. It might lead to people taking some profits, especially if there's any weakness in Bitcoin here. It's going to lead people to say, you know what, let me just lock in gains here. Just let me just lock in gains, and I think that's what we're probably going to see the next couple of days, I think, to finish out the week, unless Bitcoin continuously stays strong, goes 70K plus, which I think it could certainly do as well. And that's the downside that I have, which I'll manage it. That's why I don't like options here, because I can get out if I don't like the look of things, in terms of my position. At literally 7:59 p.m. Eastern, I can go ahead and get out, right? Or, at 4 a.m. Eastern, I can do the exact same thing, I can get out, which is why I'd rather just short shares, or long shares, short shares on more volatile names, right? If you're going to play options, I'm playing options on the airlines. They're not going to move that much. They're longer term ideas. So play the bigger move that you're looking for longer term. But let's look at Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin pulling a little bit? Because the market's still holding up. It's green. NASDAQ's red. Maybe that's kind of pulling on things. Yeah, Bitcoin is pulling back a little bit past, hour or so. It's pulled back like a couple $100, but realistically, grand scheme, that's not that much. So that's what Mara you're seeing. So I think that this weakness into the close is not going to look good for tomorrow because, if you look at this bigger picture here, we saw some strength into the close yesterday and then, followed by a pretty good open this morning. And then, it's been falling off, profit taking and whatnot. But you could be looking at a potential panic sell where people start freaking out that, oh my gosh, Mara's coming down, Bitcoin's staying high, or it's not, Mara's not pushing higher with it. And you could get kind of a panic sell freak out. And so I'm thinking we can see a flush down to 50, and maybe we could even see a flush sub 50, dare I say, which would kind of be kind of crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get one of these type of flushes. Look, go back to this, the day we had right here. What was this, yesterday? It opens up at $52 and it flushes down to 40 into the 48, sub 49. You could see something like that tomorrow morning, and then if it gets bought back up, that's great. That's a great sign for the longs. But that's the idea on it. It's just, it's looking the other way. Everyone's probably looking long as Bitcoin's breaking out. Everyone's looking long. Just want to make sure I'm looking the other way, and that's an example of maybe this works out nice. So we'll see. Check out Poodle, next big meme coin. Yeah, I don't personally, I'm not someone who trades, I don't actively trade any cryptos. Literally, I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, that's it. But we can take a look at ETH. Let's take a look at Ethereum. I might have a little Solana or something, but in a different account. But that's really it. I'm, personally, my strategy on that type of stuff is a little bit different. We also haven't hit those all-time highs yet on Ethereum. They're up here towards, I'll draw a line in right here. Up here towards, $4,300, which we're getting closer, which is nice. For sure, but it looks like Bitcoin has been, well, if you go back, let's take a look from where it was down here, like sub 3K. This has made a nice 40% move from literally like a month ago. 40% on Ethereum. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's similar, right? Let's take a look. Bitcoin from where it was has made a 50. Yeah, Bitcoin's actually outperformed Ethereum the past past month or so, which is interesting. I'm curious to see if that kind of flip-flops as we push all-time highs on Bitcoin. Does Ethereum catch up and go all-time highs next? Because Ethereum was leading the pack, at least in terms of its moves, at least last year or earlier this year. It was stronger than Bitcoin. I know a lot of people made better gains on, playing Ethereum. So we will see how that is just kind of an interesting idea in development. We'll see how that plays out, though. Let's see. Bitcoin is holding up. So here's your range right now. If we draw on some lines, we got a little bit of support here down here, and we got your actually kind of like a little bit of a downtrending looks like a slight downtrend there in terms of the lower highs being built in. So we'll see how that plays out into the coming days. Really, we'll see. This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially when I'm curious to see what the market does at the close and what Bitcoin does. So we got about 8 minutes of the close, and then we'll see if Bitcoin makes any moves. It seemingly made a move after the market opened today. It tends to, at least it used to, make some decent moves on the weekends. So we'll see if that has any effect. Market has any effect on that. People kind of just saying, okay, let's go buy some Bitcoin with my day trade profits. I don't know if that does anything. We have some. I even threw in some of this too. What do I have here? A little bit of SHIB for fun. It was just an absolute lottery, which is just setting up pretty nice too. If you look at SHIB's chart, you kind of have. Here's your setup. Little pennant shape type of move here. We could be breaking out up over 0.0000003, whatever that is. Could be the next leg up for that. We'll see if it breaks out and pushes higher. Outside of that, pretty much on small caps, at least for me today, looks like everything that I have it's like half and half. More than that. Looks like small cap wise, more than half are green. And then a lot of the red here are some of the option positions and whatever. Those are longer options. So I don't really, worry too much about the short-term movements there. Let's see. Look at this. HX is going to go 100% today. This thing is nuts. HX is pushing to the close, 1890. You're probably going to see $20. You're probably going to see $20 hit really quick on HX. Maybe it happens like the first minute of after hours. But this is where the volume is at today, up 95%. The thing was already up massive. It's up a couple 100%, going into the morning as it was. And now it's up, 95%. So 1890 resistance right now. A little bit of a seller there, but that shouldn't be too big to get knocked through. That can easily get knocked through. I was halted a few minutes ago. We were just looking at it. Let's see. What else do we have? SDIG. This has been pushing up. This is a IPO. Looks like Stronghold Digital Mining. Oh, so it's a crypto. That's a interesting play there. Let's pull it up. Well, let me pull it up on the screen here. Stronghold Digital Mine. I haven't really looked into this one at all, but it's it came out in a great time. Hit the market on a really nice time. You got your environmental impact. You got crypto mining techniques. Blah blah blah. Power facilities. Shows you these things. You got your investors page. Interesting. I'm curious how this one plays out. This could be a runner for the next couple of days if Bitcoin and crypto stay pretty strong. Look at this thing opening up here at 26, hit up to 31. So it's on the boards. It's hitting the boards nice, at least gainer wise. And then SHPW. Look at this thing. Wild. It must have been a SPAC, right? It was a SPAC. It was a previous SPAC. These have been kind of hot lately as well. Dipped down, decently, and then it's ripping. Someone was also mentioning Beachbody. I like the play, to be honest. Like, I like the company. Like, back when it was like around 10 SPAC days, I was like, hey, it's worth a shot. And it pushed up to 13. So I ended up taking profits because it spiked too fast. And I was like, I'm going to take profits here. And I kind of moved on and forgot about it for a couple months. And now it's back here. It's back at 5. Oh, not back. It's down to 5. I think it's worth a shot. I think it definitely is. But they got a lot going on that front. So I don't know. I think it's certainly worth a shot down here towards 5. It could be one of those looking for a relief bounce in a sense, right? Which you can get a relief bounce from down here towards 5. I would say $5 is where I put my stop loss roughly. A bounce of the 50 SMA is about 25%. I think that's a decent. You probably get a 25% bounce at some point on this thing. Maybe it becomes the next meme. Who knows, right? I have no idea. Speaking of some of the memes, let's take a look at like Clove. What is Clove doing? Clover Health. How is this guy doing? It's down under 8. Yeah, it can't get above the 50 SMA right now. It's got some support. It's down pretty low, relatively speaking, but it seems like it can't get above that 50 SMA, which is like a 825-ish. It's struggling pretty decently. So the market's going to close in 3 minutes, and we'll see if we get any after hours news plays, and we'll see what happens, and we'll watch Bitcoin, and then we'll wrap things up, in a little bit, and then we'll see where we are at. That's really that. Pretty chill, honestly. I'm waiting for the day. I mean, HX, I guess, is a good one, but I feel like people are like, hey, hit 1940 now. This is it's a great to see, but I feel like people are waiting for the day where we have, let me look at HX really quick on their recent PR front. I haven't even been following too much what they've been up to. I just know that they've been running the past couple of weeks. It's been building. PRs, September 28th, plans to enter U.S. radiation oncology services market. That's really it from September 28th on HX. So if you go back, where was that? Did that spark anything? I gotta go to like a 4-hour chart or something. 28th, you gotta zoom out. That's here. Yeah, it kind of did. It bottomed out 156, and the 28th it drops this news. Didn't really do anything, but it pushes up into the 2 range, and then it kind of builds over that 2 range and pushed up from there. But today, by far the craziest volume day we're seeing. We're seeing this thing at, what is the volume at right now? 55 million roughly. Once you start getting into the hundreds of millions, I mean, that's pretty impressive for a $19 stock. I mean, you're talking penny stocks and small caps. This is a great sign. This is the type of stuff you want to see if you like small caps, because you could be playing your small cap bottomed out play, right? Let me get out of this. So this is at 3. It dipped down to 123. You can be looking at bottomed out small caps and thinking to yourself, yeah, man, that'd be great to see this thing make a run. Well, this run that we just saw on HX is beautiful, and that's just going to be really, really nice. People are going to want this. People who make money on this are going to want the next one. And people who miss out on this are going to want the next one. And so it's going to I think it's going to help send a lot of small caps, and that's good to see. This thing was like a $2 stock like 3 weeks ago. But that's great. Now, we just haven't really seen, to be honest, a fresh, like a news runner, like where we get a one day. Maybe it kind of leads into a multi-day, but like a one and done almost in a sense, where they drop news in the morning at 7 a.m. and it's hot and it runs, 100%, 200%, 500% in one day. Haven't had one of those in a while, it seems like. So waiting for one of those, and HX making the move it did. This is a good sign for people, at least sentiment-wise, on small caps, and I think it could help a lot. So we'll see. All right, market's closed. Let me transition this, right? The market's closed? Or is it not? Why is HX still pushing? It's going to be volatile. I guess they're figuring out this price. Let me push out. Let's see, to after hours. And we'll watch. Yes, okay. So it's 1887, I guess, is the number it comes in at to finish the day. There was a little bit of figuring out the price. We'll go to after hours and we'll see if it wants to go to 20 and get that $20. I think it gets a $20 touch if I had to guess, but maybe it wants to go for $20, and we'll see if something else drops any news. So I'm paying attention to like the news stream, and we'll see if that happens. Let's see. 1850s. I've noticed a lot with some of these crazy pushes into the close. You'll see a really strong push into the close, and it looks really good. And then it pulls back a little bit, a couple percent at the beginning of after hours, and then it rips, a couple minutes later. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see like an 18, maybe even a sub $18 flush on HX, and then it rips $20. So we'll see. ADMA proposed public offering of common stock. So there's some news. ADMA, that's not good news. And it dropped from 110 to 89. Now that was a pretty nasty drop pretty fast. I've also been paying attention to some of these. There have actually been really good bounce back trades. One of them was yesterday. MFH announced offering news, and it bounced back immediately. Look at this. Go back to yesterday. They dropped. I put an order in. Because I was paying attention at the time. It was sitting here, closing up over 3. Looked good. They dropped news of an offering. I had an order here at 259. It hit 250, but I put the order in right after it hit that 2. So I missed the first initial flush. And then I just missed getting in. It was this wick right here. This candle, the third candle here, hit 260. I missed getting in. And then literally, it pushed right back up over 3 within, a couple minutes. And then, okay, whatever, it kind of did its thing. And then today it pushed up and hit up to, where did it go? 360. So that's a beautiful, if you wanted a dip, you got that beautiful offering dip, 40% from yesterday's dip to today's high. Who's going to play the exact perfect, it's tough to play the perfect, catch the perfect dip, but that was nice. Biggest crypto hold, actually, I think it's Ethereum. I just was looking earlier. It's probably Ethereum. But it's just Bitcoin, Ethereum, that's it. I'm not into the active crypto jazz. It's just not, it's not my focus of stuff. But I have some long-term, and that's it. That is the plan. I had a video a couple weeks back on that too. If you want to go check it out, dive into some of the plans, some of the news, some data, and one of the platforms that I use to hold it, to earn some interest. There's a bunch of them out there these days, but I recommend at least you got. There's like free money to be made on earning interest on your crypto, so take advantage of something like that. Let's see. BENE, that has like no volume, so that's not really it. GFL. What is this? GFL seems like that's not actually a real move. We have EEX. No, nothing really crazy here in after hours. We have SHPW. Shapeways Holdings is the high one. Of the was up there for a second. JRJC has been one that's been pushing up. Look at this. This has been a while. I remember trading this one back in college, years ago, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I guess, whatever it was. I have no idea when I was a senior in college when I remember trading it, and I think I was trading it back in here. It was 2020, so it was like 2 years ago, I guess. No, May. I don't even know. Whatever. I think I was in this thing, and I think I played it from like the 4s up to like the 6 range on one of these spikes, or even going back further. Who knows? I forget. And then I remember looking at it months later. I'm like, oh my, this thing was up at like $30. Went nuts. Super low float play. So, look at that. From the offering dip, it's been kind of a slow grinder, and now boom, it's pushing. Speaking of those types of charts, there's actually a nice one. I was looking, EYEG. Look at this. EYEG is a similar chart. Different stock, not a Chinese stock, I don't think. No, yeah, it's not a Chinese stock. It's a U.S. But, it's kind of had an offering gap down and then slow grinding up. And I think you're going to probably get one day at some point. They have a bunch of catalysts coming into Q4, which we're here now. So they're probably going to get one day of a move to 3+. I think at some point extension is what I would imagine. That's my guess on that one. Reminds me a lot of that chart. HX. Let's see. Did it do anything in after hours so far? No, not really. Let's see if it holds up here. If it holds up in the 18 range, it did flush just under 18 for a second. And now we'll see if it wants to go to $20. It's my speculation. Is it flushes sub 18 and then goes 20. So we'll see. Over 20 could get, wild, but we'll see what happens. Did Tesla have some news? Because Tesla, did they have earnings or something? I don't even know. Tesla just dipped hard and then ripped. Now it looks like it wants to go like 9. It's going to go all-time highs. Like it's flying. What is going on? Let me look it up. PRs. Let's see if I can pull anything from it. TSLA. What's going on here? Oh, they reported earnings, I guess. They EPS and revenue beat. Let's see, what do we have? 900 plus is coming. Yeah, it's just people just saying random stuff. Let's see if I can pull it up. Q3 1.86 versus a 1.35 estimate. Revenue of 13.8 billion versus 13.2. So they beat. Looks like they beat EPS and they beat revenues. So it's weird because sometimes you never know how these things react. They can beat and then it can be wild. But look at this. The thing dipped. What is that? 1.5%, and now it's back up, like 0.5% in after hours. Wild reactions on Tesla. All right, let's see what Bitcoin's doing. I'm curious to see how this is setting up. We'll come back to Tesla in a second. I'm sure they'll be volatile enough to come back to. So Bitcoin closing, it's actually pulling back a little bit here now, down towards the lower level of our, little bottom where we bounced today. So we'll see if we can crack below or hold this level and go for a bigger move. but seems like it's pulling back after the market closed. So far, yeah, not a huge correlation there, but let's go back to Tesla, because this is now 870. It's interesting because a lot of people just love to play it. Play this thing with options, and I'm sure there was some wild action on the options chain this afternoon on Tesla. Lottery plays. The problem with this thing is that, yeah, okay, they could beat, but like, did this beat that they just had, was that not just priced in the past couple of days, like the past couple of weeks? Like, I mean, let's be honest, right? Was this, quarter three beat on revenues, EPS, whatever you want, everything, right? Was that not priced in by this move that we had from like 790s to 875, a 10% move in the stock? I think it partially was priced in. So I don't know if you're going to get as big of a positive reaction, even though it sounds positive, right? I don't think you're going to get as big of a positive reaction. So, and there it is, HX, $20. I should have taken some just for fun. But yeah, we had that slight dip under 18, and then it pushed 20 plus and it hit 2140. So look at that. So there you go. And you can't have the halt. You can have halts technically in the after hours, usually for news pending or something like that, but you're not going to get halts. You can't get volatility halts, like trading volatility halts in the after hours, which is why a lot of times crazy runners, you get a lot cleaner of a move in the pre-market and after hours. So it's fun to kind of, at least, if you ever get into trading those things, or at least watch them, it's fun to watch them in the pre-market and after hours, because sometimes you can see some crazy moves, especially, honestly, I see it a lot in pre-market when you get the initial reaction off a press release. It's pretty nice. Crypto, I don't have crypto short term. I don't do that. I don't really mess with that stuff. Although if we get crazy moves, I'm going to take some profits for sure on some of the crypto plays, even Bitcoin. I don't care. I'll take profits on a bunch of stuff. If things go parabolically nuts and everyone's, all in on crypto in the next couple of months, yeah, I'm going to take something off the table. Meanwhile, Tesla's down look at that. Tesla's down. Look at that. Crazy. Maybe it comes back down to the low eights. Stock short term, stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I post every Saturday, but tomorrow I'm posting it. I'm posting it tomorrow because I'm not going to be here Saturday. So every Saturday, I post an update of the current portfolio and stuff. So I give at least my ideas. But if you buy just random stocks that I say, you're probably going to lose money. And most people probably will, because you don't have the same time frames, ideas, and whatnot on it. And, especially when it comes to a lot of small caps that I play, it's a lot more of playing the game. And sometimes playing the game is a little more complicated than just, buy it at support, sell at resistance, So a little bit of playing the manipulation game the opposite way, right? Sometimes. But I mean, I give some, I have a lot of stuff there that I talk about why I like stuff, and we talk about, scaling out. We talk about, targets and whatnot, and how I look at targets. It's good. I mean, I don't just post random stuff and say, yeah, buy it. I hope people honestly don't buy the stocks I buy. Go find your own. That's kind of the way that's the stuff that I kind of preach. It's why I don't care to do there's no alerts. There's no Discord down below for my alerts. There's none of that stuff on this. I mean, people charge for that stuff. Yeah, they make a ton of money. Miss out. People who have a platform can miss out on a lot of money if they don't do that stuff. And I don't care, because it's like to me, it's a lot of BS, but they're making more money off of you than they're making on trades, and they're padding their portfolios, and then they can go ahead and make money on their trades because they don't have to worry about their income. They got so much coming in, right? So different psychology when it comes to that stuff. And I don't really care to be involved, and I don't want to do that to people. If you can make money trading the stocks as it is, then you don't need to sell, an alert system. I'm more here for the education behind it. It's just at least how I see it. Looking at Tesla again, adjusted net income $2.093 billion versus an estimated 1.61 quarterly regulatory credit sales $279 million versus $397 million reported last year. Automotive gross margin for quarter three on Tesla. Maybe I should pull Tesla up again. Automotive gross margin for quarter three. Go to the 1 minute chart. See the craziness. It's wild. 30.5%. Seems pretty nice. That does seem pretty nice. Tesla beats but goes down. Yeah. I mean, that's what, because again, think about it, right? I think it's still going to be fine long term, but we priced in a lot of that move just past few days. We priced it in. So I don't know. I am not from Canada. I am currently living in Texas. I've used a bunch. I'll use Coinbase. I have some. I have another one, a fairly new one is Vault. So there should be a link below to that one as well. Vault is another one that I use to store crypto. I've used BlockFi in the past, but I've now switched over from there. I don't have any money there. And I use Vault instead. So, it's one of the platforms I use to hold crypto longer term. There's plenty more. I'm not the most educated on that stuff anyway, as it is. But, I don't have any, personal interest in trading it super short term. At least that's just my take on it. But people can do very, very well. I would just rather stick to focusing on, the small caps and playing that game. Look at that. So it's breaking down a little bit here as we speak on Bitcoin, breaking down a little bit. I would not be surprised. I'm thinking what we're going to see is we're going to probably see this thing come back down to the mid 60s, 65, 64, maybe even kind of freak people out and go like, 60-ish K. And then if it holds those levels that it kind of consolidated out the past couple of days, if it holds like, let's say the 61,000 level right here, I think that's a springboard for the next move. That's at least my take on it. We'll see how that plays out. But, I have the short on Mara for right now, and we'll see if that works tomorrow. I think you're going to probably get a panic sell. If Bitcoin opens lower tomorrow, you'll probably get a panic sell on Mara, and we'll see how it plays out though. But that said, I'm going to wrap things up because, we pretty much covered a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about. We saw Bitcoin, we saw the market close. And so we'll see how this plays out into the rest of the week. But there you go. We're kind of, we're downtrending right now on Bitcoin. So we will see. Appreciate you guys for tuning on in. Hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing if you are new. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. We're going to be diving into the current portfolio, Webull portfolio, and how that's setting up. And this will stay up here on the channel. So if you missed it and you're watching after the fact or you want to go back to the beginning, you can certainly go back and just replay the stream.